Sup, so I don't really have much to talk about in this video, so I'm gonna go through a comment, guys and girls, and yeah, so I've just been playing a lot of games lately, so War Within just came out, been pretty focused on that, just smashing it out. Gaming's fun, man. I love gaming, but it's a only like cheap form of entertainment that you can do on a budget, I guess. It's better than going out and spending hundreds of dollars when you get very little value in return. So I prefer to just spend my time gaming. Gaming's fun. But anyway, so I'm just gonna read this comment out because it kind of stuck out to me, because it pretty much expresses how I think a lot of people feel, especially in Australia. So they say that Australia is the most expensive country to live in the world. For example, some states like South Australia pays the highest for electricity in the world. We Australians pay between $1.95 and $2.30 per litre for petrol, and USA pays $3.95 per gallon. That's about 98 cents per litre. That's way less than we pay. We pay more for food, rent, property, everything. This is extremely true, guys. Petrol is just ridiculous, and that's not even breaking the surface. But to be fair, most of their supply seems to be around there anyway, so obviously we are going to be paying extra for the fuel to come over here, considering the fact that we live in basically in the middle of nowhere. So obviously the fuel is going to be pricier, but at the same time, it still doesn't really justify it. I used to drive my BMWs around. Now they're not fancy cars, just like E46, E36, and I ended up going down to a 4-litre and a motorbike because it's just so much more cheaper to ride the motorbike around. I spend about $25 to fill up a tank on the motorbike, and I get about 250 to 280 kilometers out of it. So I get a lot more value out of riding my bike today, guys, and yeah, that is why I really just sort of avoid driving the cars these days. I just can't justify spending that much on fuel. It's just, it's getting quite ridiculous now, but it's interesting though. And food, rent and property, the food's expensive as hell here. It's just ridiculous. If you guys have seen any of my previous videos, you'll know my thoughts on the cost of food here. You get very little value for what you pay. You go out and you spend like 20-30 bucks for a person, and you get low quality food, you get a bad customer service, you get attitude from the staff, you get man, the environments for the most part usually suck. It just doesn't feel worth it anymore. It doesn't feel worth it. It doesn't feel enjoyable. I used to really enjoy eating out, but today I avoid eating out. It's not even really about the price. Let me put it this way, right? I used to love eating out. I used to love it so much. I enjoyed it so much pre-COVID. Okay, guys, pre-COVID. And the reason being is because pre-COVID, people didn't seem to have this reclusive attitude that they have now. They're very reclused and very, shut off from people. They don't want to talk to you, they don't want to smile, they don't want to say hello, and it's just become very cold. And and if you notice what they're doing, they do it even with everything around you. They destroy beautiful things and they replace it with this very plain standard design. We used to have beautiful lamps, beautiful buildings, beautiful chairs. Even the chairs are beautiful, right? And nowadays they replace it with these very minimalistic designs, and I feel like it destroys the beauty and it destroys the hope. Does that make sense? It's like if there's nothing beautiful around, then it takes away the feeling of feeling good. Does that make sense? Because they replace it with all this like copy paste garbage, right? You know, everything in the world is turning into copy paste garbage. Does that make sense? You know, even the houses, man, all the houses look the same. There's no design in anything anymore. It's literally just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, right? So you look around everywhere and it becomes the same. It becomes the same. So they're slowly taking away the beauty out of the world, man. And you know, we have like so many beautiful old buildings around that are slowly just getting, you know, destroyed, guys, right? Now some of you might be into the whole Tartaria conspiracy theories. Well, you know, conspiracy, everything that's a conspiracy these days seems to be a little bit more towards the fact. Don't know how that happens, right? But anyways, I'm not going to go into conspiracies or, you know, but you can check on the old maps. There is actually, you know, Tartaria on the map. But anyway, that's not really the discussion of this video, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that they are destroying the beauty in the world and making it plain, so that way you can be more miserable and, you know, less hopeful and less happy, you know? Does that make sense? But anyways, I'm going to go back to this comment now. So they say here that the country drains the money. A large majority of people are stingy and selfish. Some people are so willing to take what they can and not give a fuck about the homeless people. Homeless animals that are starving. Okay. So this one here, man. You know, okay, I used to give a fuck about the homeless people. And I don't really give a fuck anymore. And the reason being is that, you know, look, I've helped homeless people before. I've given them food and shit like that. And don't get me wrong, a lot of homeless people are actually, you know, just genuinely having a tough time, and they're actually pretty good people. But then there was one, you know, I've been going through the city one time with a group of my friends, and this homeless dude with I don't know what the fuck he was carrying. It was like some sort of crutch or some shit like that. And he comes up and he smacks my mate in the back with it. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you can't even walk in the city these days without people attacking you. I had a fucking full bottle of water in my hand. I'm just like fucking piffed it at the cunt. And oh my god, it was so fucking funny. But at the same time, like, my mate was like, didn't even know what to do. And I'm just like, how does this shit happen? There's a specific street up near Flinders. If you guys live in Melbourne, or any of you live in Melbourne, you'll know. I'm not sure what the street name is, like Elizabeth Street or something like that. But there's a lot of homeless people that live out there, and a lot of people walk by and they get abused. They get abused, and they get sometimes they get assaulted. Sometimes they get you know, names and shit called at them. A lot of, like, you know, because I like to browse on the Reddit, and you know, I see a lot of women specifically that, you know, comment on there, and you know, they talk about how they've been like assaulted and, like, you know, followed and harassed and all this shit by the homeless people there. And so I don't know, man, like, look, I get it, you know, homeless people, you know, need some help, but, you know, like I say, like I like to say this, but, you know, you can teach a man to fish and you'll feed him for a lifetime, or you give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Now it goes back to front, but you get what I'm saying, right? You know, you can give them all the money in the world, you can do all the shit in the world to help them, but, you know, they're probably going to end up back there anyways, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, the reality is that they are not really willing to help themselves, guys, you know. So that's why another reason not to fucking help people is because You know, no matter how much you do for somebody, if they're not willing to help themselves, they're just gonna end up back in square one anyways. You know, we live in a world that, you know, you have to be strong to survive, man. It's just a reality. Like, you have to be able to, you know, get through shit. And if you are not willing to do that, then you will end up on the street, you know. But the reality is, man, is like, I honestly don't understand why there are so many homeless people. Like, we get government assistance here. You can get like $1,000 a fortnight or however much they pay. There's no real reason that you should be homeless, to be honest. I mean, like, even if you were to rent a room, you can still get a room for like $250 a week. And yeah, that's absurdly expensive, but I mean, it's still a place to live. You can get a lot cheaper, man. You go in the outer suburbs, you can probably, if you're lucky, live in a shittier place for about $160 a week, right? So it's definitely doable. So I just don't understand, like, why there are so many homeless people when we have government assistance. So to me, it sounds like a lack of support maybe on the mental health department. But then again, the people that are mentally unhealthy in that scenario are very, like, I don't know how to put it. They're just, maybe a lot of them are just past a point of no return in a sense. But that's also, I guess, a failure of the government. I don't know, man. Because, you know, you give people money. Like I said, this is where it comes back down to the fact that, you know, if people are not willing to help themselves, they'll still end up back in square one. So why is that, right? Even if you give them government support, what are they going to spend it on? What are they going to do with it, right? So, yeah, I guess I just don't really give a shit to help the homeless people anymore. I'm sorry. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe. I don't know. But, hey, look, in the end of the day, man, like, I'll never give them money, dude. And a lot of the time, even when you do nowadays, like they'll actually insult you if you don't give them enough. Like, they'll get annoyed at you for not giving them enough money too. So, yeah, I'm sorry, man, but like, there's a lot of homeless people in the city now that you just want to avoid, man. Just because of the fact, like, you know, you don't want to get abused, you don't want to get assaulted, all this other shit. Look, I personally haven't had any, like, homeless people try to assault me. I had one guy one time when I was crossing at a light section, and I saw him sort of charging up towards me. So I like stood there and just like stood my ground, like stiffened myself and shit, right? And he pushed right into me. He's like, poof, and he just like fell straight back, and I was like, and then he's trying to start on me, right? Because he's thinking, I'm gonna back down. I'm just like, he's like standing at me. He's like trying to come and push me. I'm like, just stood there, like standing down. You know what I mean? Like, because what at the end of the day is like they want to look for somebody that they can, you know, they feel like they can bully, I guess. And you know, for me, like, I don't need to deal with people like that, and I won't deal with people like that. So, you know, if people want to come and try me, that's fine. I'm not really afraid of it, to tell you the truth. You know, I've got experience, done rolling, done all that shit. So I don't really have too much of an issue with people like that. So that if they want to try me, I usually just stand my ground, stare them down, and tell them to fuck off. And most of the time, they are not about it. That's just a reality, man. You know, most people are just not really about it, if that makes sense. So, I guess that's how I deal with, like, aggressive homeless people. but typically they don't really target me. That's the first incident I've ever had in the entirety of the time that I've lived in Melbourne. Never had an issue. Never had an issue. Yeah. So yeah, do I feel bad for the homeless? I mean, a little tiny bit. But for the most part, I just don't. Because, like I said, a lot of people are just... They don't want to help themselves either. So they stay in the same spot. And that's just the part of life, man. You can't help everyone. You know, and not everyone deserves your help. But yeah, it's wild. Here we go. She says here, I think it's a she, I don't know. But cops just pick on road users way too much. Yet, if there is a robbery or a home invasion, they take 2 or more hours to come, but yet they can pull you over and don't need to give you a reason why. They go through your car in hope that they find something to fuck up your life with, like a baseball bat, and then charge you because it's classed as a weapon. Court fines, any fines are astronomical now. I want to leave this country. Fucking relatable, man. So relatable. Oh god. You know, don't even get me started on the fines, man. Oh god, the fines. Dude, I remember a long time ago, right? A long time ago I was like working and I was riding a push bike at the time, and I went through some red lights on a push bike. Dude, you wouldn't believe this shit. I got fined like $600 for that. And this was a while ago. Like, this was before COVID even. And, man, I couldn't, like, believe that shit. $600 for... And there was no fucking people on the road either. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, man. 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was just this asshole in a fucking, you know, private car, you know, private cop cars and shit, undercovers, and yeah, just pulled me over. He's like, oh, you crossed the red light. I'm just like, well, fucking, like, what? Like, there's no one on the fucking road. There's no one, literally nobody on the road, and yet I copped a fucking $600 fine for that shit. Yeah, astronomical fucking fines, man, in this country. I tell you what. You know, everything in this country, I swear to God, man, it's like, it's designed to rip you off. Everything in this country is designed to rip you off, man. Like, train tickets, you know, toll roads. You don't have to take the toll roads, I know, but like, $7-8 to use a fucking toll road to one trip it's just ridiculous, man. You know, like, they shouldn't be able to even fucking charge to use a road, to be honest, in my opinion. They shouldn't be allowed to fucking charge to use tolls, man. Like, every road should be accessible for everybody, in my opinion, you know? Isn't that why we fucking pay rego in the first place? Is, you know, extra regos and all this tax is so that, you know, we can have good roads and all this shit, yet we still, you know, blocked off from using these roads. We still have to pay money for it. It's a joke, man, honestly. And the fines are fucked, you know, and they're always looking for ways to just, you know, fuck you over. Absolutely true. But by the way, if you do get, you know, have a baseball bat or whatever in your car, you just tell them that you play sports or that you go to training or whatever. You know, in the end of the day, like, you're allowed to carry a baseball bat in your car. You're allowed to carry things like that in your car. You won't get fined for it. And just, you know, the number one thing I think that if you get pulled over is just don't talk, man. Just don't talk. Answer the necessary questions that you need to be answering. You know, if they ask you where you're going tonight, you don't need to answer. If they ask you where you came from, you don't need to answer. It's none of their business. It's not their concern. Just ignore it. You know, if cops pull you over, ask for your ID, whatever, give your ID, do what you have to do by the law, right? But any other questions, you don't need to answer. Just say I I decline to answer. That's it. Just repeat yourself. I decline to answer. I decline to answer. Be civil, be nice. It's pretty simple. Most cops are alright over here. Except the highway patrols, absolute bunch of pricks. And the undercovers especially are an absolute bunch of pricks. They deserve to get more than what's coming to them. I hate them so much. I think that they are just despicable fucking human beings for the most part. Yeah, undercovers are just the worst kind of cops, man. They're worse than the highway patrol. The highway patrol they're alright, but the undercovers, absolute pricks, man. But the normal cops in the normal, black and fucking white and all that shit, or blue and white, whatever, yeah, they're fine. Normal cops are fine. I've not really had any issues with those guys. They're usually pretty good. But yeah, this person's so on point when it comes to robberies and shit. They don't give a rat's ass about fucking robberies and home invasions and shit here, guys. We get teenagers and shit running into our houses all the time, trying to rob you, trying to take your shit, and I feel like we don't really do enough about it. At least in America, you guys can have guns and shit. At least you guys can defend yourselves and nail anybody who tries to break into your house. I wish we had that over here. I wish we could have guns over here. I wish that we could just fucking nail anybody who comes into the fucking house. Because I know I sure as fuck would, right? And I think everybody should have the right to defend, their premises or property or wherever they live. It's ridiculous, man. The fact, in Australia, you can't even have pepper spray here, man. That's so fucked up, man. Not even pepper spray. It's basically, in this country, it's all about, get the shit beaten out of you, get stabbed, get broken into. But the moment you do something, the moment you defend yourself, you're a criminal apparently, and you also have to go to jail because you defended yourself with brute force. Apparently, if they come and break into your house and then you chase after them and they start running away, right? Then and you chase after them and beat the shit out of them for it, then you're the bad guy because they were running away. So you apparently using brute force on somebody who's running away, right? So it's okay if they come into your house, steal all your jewelry, steal your car keys or whatever, but as long as they run away, you're not allowed to do anything, basically. So yeah, welcome to Australia, right? Overpriced, not able to defend yourself. Everything here is fucking expensive. Everything out here is just here to get you. It's here to take your money. Overly taxed, shit government. What else? It's a failed society. There you go. Australia is a failed society. But hey, at least we're not as bad as the UK so far. It's getting there. It's getting there. Don't worry, guys. 15-minute cities are coming. They're very much on their way. Soon you'll be, stuck, locked into your fucking zones. It'll be just like that movie, In Time, with Justin Timberlake. Really good movie, by the way. But it's definitely what's going to happen here in the future. I'm sure of it, man. They already have a similar thing in the UK now, where if you drive a car into a certain zone, I think you have to pay a lot of money or some shit. It's fucked up. Just the way society's going, man. So, and you wonder why people are, depressed. You wonder why people don't want to do anything, man. Why? Why would anyone want to do anything? What do you get out of doing anything, dude? It's stupid. It's so dumb. Honestly, it's so dumb. I'm fucking itching up. I'm fucking hot in here, dude. I don't know. I'm getting a fucking heat rash, man. I got the heater on. Ugh. Fucking hot as shit. But anyways. And people want to come to this country. Why? Why? You think you're going to get any more freedom coming over here? Like, come on, let's be real. Go to Southeast Asia or some shit. I mean, at least over there, at least they have, affordability. Over here, it's all about take. All they want to do is just take everything from you. They just want to take all your money and leave you with nothing. What's the point? Like, this country sucks, dude. And it sucks to say that because it used to be really good. But now it just sucks. It's so overpriced. It's just everything here is just ridiculously overpriced, overtaxed, and it just sucks, man. Like I said, it's a fucking failed society, dude. But it's all good. It's all good. There's other countries that are much better than this, in my opinion. You know, Europe pays a lot of tax, but it's still a better quality of living over there than it is over here. Yeah, it just seems like nowadays, all the quality is just, going down. All the quality is just getting worse, and everything else is getting more expensive. Inflation, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, groceries shouldn't cost so much money. I just find it funny, man, because these assholes, they profit more and more and more and more each year. They just keep profiting, even during a apparent economic decline. They still manage to profit more and more every year. The workers get paid fucking less. They don't get paid any more than they did 5-10 years ago, barely. And even if they do, it doesn't keep up nearly with the rate of like what everything else is going up with. So, meanwhile, they profit out the arse, right? They profit heaps. There's no reason for it. They shouldn't be profiting that much, especially in a failing economy, right? So, food could definitely be a lot more cheaper. But the reality is, it's not, because of greedy fucking companies that monopolize everything. So look, I'm very much about making the dollar. I love the dollar. I like to make money and shit. Definitely a capitalist. But at the same time, like, there's certain companies and industries that I feel they need to be a lot more regulated, and they should not be allowed to fucking monopolize an entire market. There should not be two companies that control the entirety of the fucking food supply for the most part. They need to be regulated a lot more than they already are. They need to be regulated more. They shouldn't be allowed to profit this much. That's so fucked up. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, this is Australia, man. Love living here. Best country ever. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. Yeah, I'm so fucking tired, man. I'm so tired. Yeah, it's been like playing WoW. It's been good. Yeah, it's been pretty good. I like gaming. Gaming's fun. But yeah, I'll probably take a break of it soon. Just wanted to get all the cool mounts and shit before everybody else did it, and then it becomes a lot more difficult. So yeah, that's been fun. Gaming's fun. Gaming and cars are fun. But yeah, anyways, peace out.